My name is Steve Dixon Cates. I was born November 13, 1940. I was the first child from Cripple Creek, born in a hospital, in Rutherford Hospital in Murfreesboro. They brought me home here to this house on this farm, and that's where I have lived or been connected with ever since. I'll soon be 84 years old. My brother and I, he was about 4 years younger. We grew up here with my parents, and often my grandmother Cates would come to stay with us some, and we enjoyed that. And we also enjoyed my mother's parents on our other land trust farm in Cannon County. My mother was an only child, so we would go over there to visit a great deal. So it was just a wonderful life here on Cripple Creek. We gathered for every occasion: Easter, New Year's, Christmas Eve. I remember very much going down to the creek, playing in the creek. In the early 40s, my father left his job in Murfreesboro. He'd always wanted to have a dairy, and so he started a grade A dairy. I think his happiest day was when we got a John Deere tractor. That's when we began to move into registered jerseys. And so my brother and I, for many years, showed registered jerseys, which was a great part of my growing up years, going to the shows and getting the cattle ready. Of course, through the years, progress came to Rutherford County. And of course, that's a two-pronged effect. I taught school for 42 years, and I know one summer I went out there to teach summer school, and it was new. Blackman High School was new, and I thought, here I am in this huge building on some of the best farmland that anyone has ever known. And so I became concerned, but I know I got in touch with the Land Trust, and Emily and others were helpful in letting me know what to do. I had a keen interest from beginning about 14 in history, not only family history, but, community history and just history in general. And that's why I always encourage my students, who is the oldest person in your family that you know? Or who is the oldest person in your community that you know? Talk to them. Learn what you can. I've learned a lot about my own family from people who were living and lived longer than they did, but who knew about them. My grandmother, Reedy, was a brag and lived over the hill on Locks Creek. And I had many good visits with a friend of hers, Mrs. Tira Dobbs Bryson. My grandmother died at 72. Miss Tira lived to be over 100 and was just as clear that day she died as I am today. So you get your history from many different places, but it's important to keep all that alive, I think, and to let people know, like my students, like you, like your friends and family, that this is real history too, that it happened and it's important and it's part of the fabric of our lives, wherever we are. I have so many questions the land can answer. My great-great-niece Mary, she's 2. I'm so happy that she's growing up here, and she loves farming. She loves her cows. Out back, Benjamin just built a new chicken house out there, and she has chickens and turkeys, and Benjamin's talking about ducks. She goes with her granddaddy to take hay to the cows. So she is very much wrapped up in all that. And we've laughed a lot of times about her starting school with people that have never even seen a cow, except maybe in a book or on a TV program or something like that. I just think it's wonderful that she's having these experiences, and it seems to be really enjoying them, invested in them. And I think probably she always will be, because it's just like my brother and me and my father, we grew up with this and we don't want to let it go. I'm so happy that our 2 family farms are protected under the easements of the Land Trust for Tennessee. Through this kind of trust is the only way that our history and the land itself can be preserved for future generations. It's just the best thing ever, and I'm glad I've lived to see it.